Welcome to Front Range Facts. This is Anthony Meisner.
And this is Jim Merrion.
We're here to bring you your national market update. Let's dive right into what's going on in the housing market.
We're going to bring out the crystal ball in this one, folks. It's a 2026 housing market forecast. Get ready.
All right, so interest rates, well, according to the MBA, they are actually going to be elevated in the next year. But according to places like Fannie Mae, we might see just a little bit more interest rate relief, down 0.3% from where we are today.
It's not going to get great, though, by the end of the year. Basically, anytime this year, if you feel you found a great house, probably just pull the trigger.
Absolutely. Unlike the last year, we're going to see very little improvement. Now, in the last year, it has been remarkable improvement.
Yeah, and too, though, it's been very erratic, like the heartbeat of a person in a hospital, perhaps, or something like that, because it's been up and down quite a bit. And we started the year at 7%, right? I mean, it was a pretty brutal start to last year. Certainly a huge headwind for the beginning of the selling season, but downward trend overall. So good stuff to see.
Okay, so roughly, this is the big difference, is what's the composition of mortgages out in the marketplace right now, right? So anyone who has a loan, where do they fall? This is the first year ever where 21% of people have an interest rate above 6%.
Higher than the inverse, which is people who have lower than a 3%. So this is the first time those 6% are the majority over the under 3% ones. And here you can kind of see the breakout, right? And so if people are really going to move, to action, they're probably going to need to be more in that higher realm, more likely to sell versus in that lower realm where they're sitting pretty on lower payments.
Okay, so cooling price growth looks different across the country, right? I mean, think about it this way. Obviously, we're here in Colorado, so we look at Colorado a lot. We've had a little bit of price depreciation. You've seen it in Florida. You've seen it in Texas, California, and Arizona. But the Northeast has been really good price growth, right? So we're kind of balancing this act here.
Yeah, but I think one thing that, this is clearly shown, there's winners and losers nationally, essentially in home price growth. In this year, 2026 is really expected to kind of see a very bifurcation of the markets where the Northeast, again, is probably going to do pretty well. Their inventory levels suck. Their new construction levels are very low. There's just nothing feeding the machine of homeownership there. But then that South, Southeast, Texas, where they overbuilt, having some problems. Colorado clearly has, some headwinds as well.
And if we look at the forecast by region or by marketplace, this is NARs. Is that correct?
This is Realtor.com.
Yeah, so Realtor.com. And they're projecting in some of those Northeast regions somewhere between 5 and 10+% appreciation because of the housing shortages that are occurring there, which is really the opposite of what we're experiencing here, which is why you see the Denver metro area highlighted as they're estimating a minus 3.4%.
I think part of that is certainly the condo townhome market, I think still has some downward, cycling to go. Absolutely.
This is definitely a composition of all product types, right? Okay, so what about this one, Jim?
Well, moderate home price growth. This is our crystal ball, right? We don't just throw out numbers here at Front Range Facts. We try to use the facts. And so what we wanted to just show you is what all the big prognosticators are saying. Where do they think home prices are going to go this year in 2026? The good news is really everybody thinks it's going to go up some percent. The MBA Mortgage Bankers Association is the only one who's being pessimistic here, but the overall average is 1.6%. So home price growth, yes,
fairly flat though.
It's fairly flat, yeah.
Yep. Inventory is expected to rise as well into 2026. You can see that based off of all these different groups, we're expected to see almost a 10% rise in actual inventory.
More choices for buyers, not a bad thing at all. Give buyers something to grasp because the inventory is historically still low from historic levels. So we do need more choices for people.
But new construction activity will actually be down.
Yeah. So again, we've had this deficit with new construction ever since the 2008 implosion, and we're basically continuing to not build enough for all the population.
Okay, so the market remains in sort of an undersupplied market, right? Just Jim and I started this podcast 7 years ago now, I think, and
it's been 8. Oh my God,
8 years.
Jesus.
Our whole premise was the fact that we've been underbuilding, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so there's this huge void in inventory, and you can really see here that again, another year is forecasting to be underbuilt based on the average we really needed. Now, this is an annual average since 1990, and population growth has increased quite a bit since then.
I think 37% or so. Yes.
So we really have experienced a place where we just are not building enough homes. It's restricting that supply of inventory on the marketplace.
Yeah.
Now,
This is
What
good.
does that mean?
This is good. So last year and this year, very anemic home sales. Growth. Right. We had about 4 million sales in 24, 4.1 in 25. This year, we're actually about to see maybe up to 10% increase in sales volume of existing homes. So
It's a
moving to
good
that
sign.
4.5 million range. We want to be closer to that 5 million, 5.5. But we'll take what we can get.
Well, in reality, like with more sellers coming on the market, this is a good sign that more buyers will actually be participating as well. Otherwise, it would create depreciation in many markets, right? So that's a great sign. The new home sales are actually expected to tick up, even though the units are coming down because they've had so much for so long that they've stopped developing lots.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, there's a lot of
problem.
inventory lag for sure on the marketplace for new construction.
And total home sales are expected to rise up to that 5.2 million-ish mark this year. But you can see in the last 2 years, I can't believe this, Jim.
8,000 home difference between 24 and 25. That's a very tight difference. That's amazing.
It is amazing.